Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo and welcome to day 91 of A Year of Change. We are at the end of our week again, week 13 this time around. A bit of a weird week. Had 2 days of bugs and just sort of odd stuff that happened throughout the week. Not a lot of great stuff happened progress-wise. I had hit sort of what I don't really consider a plateau last week. I gained 2 pounds back, and I think it was just poor eating and the schedule change and everything else. I did take a bit of a sneak peek at my progress today when I first got up, and there is some progress. So I think I'm back on track. I don't know exactly how much I've lost, but I have lost some. So that's the main thing. And of course, I haven't really thrown it away, but I haven't eaten very healthy today at all. I've just had like potato wedges all day. That's it. Oh, no, and rum. I've had rum as well as potato wedges. That's pretty much it. But it's almost the end of the day, so we should be good. Sorry that this is going up a little bit late. I just haven't had the gumption to get off my ass and do anything all day. So, which is probably why I haven't just been sitting eating all day. Anyway, one odd thing did happen this week. Something I feel kind of stupid about thinking about, or doing. Or thinking about doing about thinking. Shut up. On Friday, I decided I was going to... Lately, I've been parking at the top of the hill at work, and then going up on my lunch, coming home, getting something, taking it back, and usually it's something fairly healthy, like some fruit or dried fruit or something. Trying to be careful with the dried fruit, because we've talked about that before. It's very easy to eat 12 of something, even though you wouldn't normally eat 12 apples, but having 12 dried apples is nothing. So normally what I'll do is when I come back, then I park out front because I've already walked up the hill. Well, Friday, I was driving a friend of mine to work with me, and we got a parking spot right in... right, not rate. No, fuck it. We got a parking spot right in front of the door. So, I thought, okay, I'll go up on my lunch, and I'll walk down then. So, anyway, go outside on a break, and just looking at the hill, really don't want to do it. I figure I don't want to take the walk at 11 o'clock at night. Because I did that later on this week, and at the end of the night, you're just exhausted, you're tired out, you don't want to do that long walk. But I still need to make that trip. So I'm sort of humming and hawing and debating what I should do, and whether or not I should park up there and whining, and one of my coworkers said something that, they didn't say it in a mean way, they just said it in a way that, in my head, I kind of went, I should have thought of that a month ago. And because they were saying, I don't really want to walk up the hill at 11 o'clock at night. It's a horrible walk that late when you're tired and you just want to go the hell home. And she said, well, if your car's already here, why don't you just walk up the hill and walk back? You're doing the same thing. And I felt really, really stupid because I should have thought of that a month ago because I've passed so many parking spots down on in the regular parking lot. And I've driven up to the hill. I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll find one later on at the end of the day. When I could have just parked there and on my lunch, walked up the hill anyway, and then walked back down. Because that's really all it is. It's that same sort of thing. Mentally, it's a little bit different knowing that, okay, I'm going up for a reason. I have my car up there. And maybe I should still do that, just so that, it's part of that routine. But I ended up just walking up the hill and then walking back down. Well, thinking about it now, I didn't really walk all the way around where my car would normally be, which was only about another 20 feet. But I'll have to do that next time. Because I was going to say it's very easy to just go close enough to the top and then I'll walk back. Need to walk to where my car would normally be. Or maybe I'll just park up there again. Because it's a lot easier, I find, just to park there first thing and then walk up on my lunch. And then I have it down right at the front door. Or again, right at the front door when I come out at 11. It's just usually by that time you don't want to do anything. I mean, I'm usually up by 7 or 8 anyway. So it's just, I don't want to take that long trip up there. So that's what I may do this week. And I realize I'm leaning at a frame. Anyway, I also had a discussion with someone, and I think they were legitimately trying to help or trying to share or trying to inspire or something. But it's really difficult talking to someone that is already sort of at the stage where we're trying to get to. And when someone starts a sentence by saying, oh, well, we're just going to start out with a 5K, they don't seem to quite understand that's not something that you start out with. Actually, the exact line was, I started out with marathons. So I don't know how the hell you start out with a 26-mile run, as you're thinking, it's a beginner class. We'll just do 26 miles and that'll be it. But we were just talking sort of back and forth about, there were some different people around work that had some success stories. And he said, oh, you should go talk to them. This person lost 100 pounds, which I thought was great. Another person lost a huge chunk of weight. And then he started sort of going into a little bit more detail about it. And what I found was it was part of a program that they had offered at work, which is still very good, but it involved, fixing all your meals a week ahead of time, going in for weekly consultation, having a gym membership and exercising and have a personal trainer that way, tracking everything the same way that we do, things like that. And there was a whole lot of stuff that went along with it. And I thought, although, obviously it does work, there are a number of different things that can work, and these people have apparently kept all the weight off. But not all of us can do that. We can't, not even discussing the time frame that it's going to take to go out and map your meals every single day for the next week and calorie count everything that way, setting aside time to go to a gym and work out there and then shower and get changed and come home and everything else. On top of the money that it would cost for the gym membership, and, well, the tracking doesn't really cost so much because that's what we're doing, but a gym membership and a personal trainer and a personal consultant and a dietitian and just all these different things. It's really good that it helped, and I'm glad that it worked for them. But it's one of those things that, of course, if you're going to throw, hundreds or thousands of dollars at this, then yes, of course it's going to work. And there are some people that can do that. The vast majority of us don't have that kind of disposable income that we can do that. We're technically spending probably the same amount of money on food, but baby steps. So it just sort of, not really, reaffirmed isn't really the exact word I'm looking for, but it just sort of solidified what we're trying to do here, in that I'm hoping that we're doing the right thing, that we aren't exactly going through and saying, okay, well, this week, here's what we're going to do for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and this is your exercise, and you need to do 20 of these and 80 of these, and, have everything mapped out that way, because we have been making those small changes right from day one. And where we are now is not where we're going to be another 6 months from now, or 3 months, because we're actually at the 3-month mark. So where we are now is not going to be where we are 3 months from now, and then at that stage, a year later, we're going to be in a much, much better place. But, if you can do it, if you can afford to get a personal trainer and a dietitian to help you along with this stuff, then by all means, do it. Anything that you can do that's going to help and get you to where you want to go. You're obviously going to go faster than the rest of us, but I wanted this to be something that anyone can do. And sure as shit, if I can do it, then you can do it. Because I've always just been very lazy. I don't want to do anything. If I could just wake up, sleep, nap, poop, go back to bed. Oh, actually, no, I could have a nap right after sleeping or right after eating. Have a nap and then sleep after that. Then just like a cat, basically. Just eat, sleep, poop. That's all you need to do all day long. It would be great. But unfortunately, a lot of us can't do that. We have a job that we need to go to. We have responsibilities that way. A lot of you have kids. Thankfully, I don't, so I have a lot more time in the day. But for those of you that have kids, you know that you can't set aside an extra 3 or 4 hours a day just to map out meals or go to the gym or take time for half of you don't even have enough time to do that to sleep. So trying to get to where we are by doing what we're doing, I think, is the most practical way. That it's something that doesn't take up a lot of time. At the end of the day, when you're tracking everything, you're probably looking at maybe an extra 10 minutes out of the day. And worst case scenario, you can lay in bed just as you're going to sleep and do it there. So there is time to do that. Unless you don't have a phone and you're tracking everything, by day and then inputting it at night, it might be a little bit longer. But when I started this, I wanted it to be something that everyone would be able to do. Not by starting out and saying, first thing you need to do is to go join a gym and, I just so happen to be sponsored by one, and, push that and then say, well, you need to go, aside from the app, but it's free, so who cares? And then saying, okay, well, today we're going to run 2 miles, and then the next day we're going to run 6 miles, and start training that way. Maybe some time down the road, like a long way down the road, we'll be able to do another series where we're going sort of like, You know, they do the from couch to 5K sort of thing, which would be interesting. I could probably do that. I think I've said that before, actually. Maybe. But like to do a second series that way might be interesting. But right now, our main goal is to change how we're eating and how we're reacting to food and everything else, so that we can walk by, you know, the bakery section of a store and not cry because we want a cake. So that's what our main goal is. The weight is coming off because of how we're changing things. We've changed our eating habits. We've changed how much water we're drinking. And I just realized I've not been tracking that. I keep doing this every single week. I think, I got to track that more. And I simply don't. So, I'm sorry. I will try again. And now I'm thinking in my head, it's like, no, do or do not. There is no try. No, I will definitely try. There isn't like a do or do not thing. So, anyway. That's my Star Wars reference for this one, so we'll leave it at that. Did you know the fat one's name was actually Porkins? Like, in the trench run at the end of the first one? Like, fuck you, George. Don't call him Porkins because he's fat. He ended up going and being Lieutenant Eckhart on the Tim Burton Batman movie, too. So there you go. That's not important at all, but that's just a little bit of information for you. So anyway, where was I? What was I talking about? We're doing the running thing, which is another series, and starting... Yes. Doing what we're doing here. I want it to stay this way. The fact that whatever we're doing, it's not going to cost us anything. You are going to need to invest some time in it. You're going to, just like we're going to need to invest some willpower into it. But that's sort of part and parcel of what we're doing. Because we know that if we don't do something, if you don't change something, then we aren't going to lose the weight. We aren't going to be able to get healthier. We aren't going to be able to change our eating habits. So there is an investment in it. So, but aside from that, I never want it to get to a point where you're thinking, okay, well, for this week, what we're going to be doing is going to cost you $50. Because we don't need it. Unless you want to go out and get yourself a really good pair of walking shoes. But again, that's a long-term investment, but it's never going to be required. It's never going to be something that you're not going to be able to continue because you don't have the time or the money or anything like that. Time might be a constraint for some, but I think that you'll find that as you progress, you're going to want to invest that time in there anyway. So it's not as bad as saying, okay, well, I can't keep going now because he wants me to buy this other thing. So it's never going to get to that. So that does remind me, though. This person also recommended something which I haven't really looked into yet. He said it was called Fitbook, which sounded a lot like MyFitnessPal, where you're just sort of tracking everything, but he said it sort of goes really in depth with like tracking what you're doing for exercise and journals and thoughts and feelings and all the other huggy hippie bullshit that goes along with that. I haven't looked into it yet. I went up to the website and, again, costs money right away. So I'm like, there's got to be some other thing we can do. And I understand. I mean, the weight loss thing is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So yes, of course, there's going to be stuff like this all the time, but I can't speak to it one way or the other. I can't say it's good or bad because I haven't looked into it yet. So maybe I'll do that this week, and we'll sort of come back to that. But, this week we're going to be talking about some other sort of weight loss things that don't necessarily cost money, like the Overeaters Anonymous, stuff like that. So maybe we'll sort of all lump that in there and do some research that way. But the main reason why I sort of want to bring this up is that during this conversation, while it's very nice to have these people that have the success stories and everything else, and I'm sure that we're going to have our fair share as well, it was one of those things that I thought, well, of course, they've had a personal trainer, they've gone in for weekly consultations, they have someone basically mapping out what they're going to be eating. They're doing the same thing that we are, just at an accelerated rate, and they have a paid professional helping them do it. So, of course it's going to work. And not for sour grapes, not to just be pissy about it. I'm glad it worked for them. We all know what it's like, and we all know what it would be like to say, if I could lose 100 pounds and have it, if you could have that sort of support system in place at your work and they were willing to pay for it, bravo. And I think they did pay for it. So they do like a wellness fair thing every May or October or something. October, I think he said. Which they didn't include, because see, October for us up here in Canada, that's what our Thanksgiving is. So we have Thanksgiving and Halloween. I naturally assumed, okay, well, that's going to be why you have the wellness thing, because we have a great big bunch of food here, a great big bunch of food there. And so people just tend to say, fuck it, it's October, and I'm going to pack the weight on for the wintertime. But they hadn't thought of it. They just went, no, it's just always been October. I don't know why. So anyway, I know I'm getting off topic, but if you can do that, if you have the means to say, I can dedicate the time to go for an hour-long consultation every week, I can take the time to take, an extra an hour or 2 or 3 or however long it takes to travel to the gym and do the workout, shower, come home, get changed, then go to work, and all the other stuff that goes along with it. If you have that ability to do that and the willingness, then by all means do it. But it's not required. It's going to take some investing of our own time and our willpower and everything else that we're doing. My major investment was my treadmill, which is helpful now, but for the better part of a year was basically just a coat rack. So that's my big investment, and it took a long time to save up a whole bunch of money to go buy it. And that's not going to be required. I could have just as easily gone outside and sucked it up and thought, you know what, people are going to laugh at me and everything else, but I will go and I'll get sweaty outside and go for a walk, and I could have done that as well. For me, for the self-conscious thing, that investment was well worth it. But it's not required. If you want to go for a walk every single day, go outside, go for a walk. It's so much easier said than done, I know, because I sure as hell wasn't going to do it, which is why I got the treadmill. But whatever it is that you're doing for your exercise, whether it's walking or, just doing push-ups or sit-ups, oh God, I don't even know if I can do a sit-up. I probably could, maybe. Couldn't do a pull-up, I know that much. So whatever it is that you're doing for an exercise, I'm going to go off on another tangent here because now I'm going, could I do this? Could I do that? No. Walking is my thing. I will stick with that. It makes me feel better. I can watch TV while I'm doing it. So that's the main thing. So I'm not bored through the entire thing. But whatever it is that you've been doing for, when we first started doing the exercises, when we changed it up, you're on 2 days a week now, which we're going to be changing a little bit tomorrow. Whatever it is that you're doing, it's something that fits in with your life. And that's the main thing. If it's going to be something, it's hard enough doing what we're doing, like changing the way that we're eating, change the amount of fluid that we're drinking, changing, the types of food that we are going after. The exercise alone, all these changes, it is a little bit, I don't want to say stressful, but it's one of those things that I suppose it is. It's somewhat stressful because it's a life change. So on top of that, if you're saying, well, I really want to do this, and on top of all this other stuff, this is sort of an investment that you've made a conscious decision and said, okay, I can do this. I've decided to put in the time and I can do this. On top of that, if all of a sudden you're saying, well, now I've got to pay a monthly membership for this, I'm going to pay out extra gas to get there, or, I've got to buy gym equipment, or I'm buying running shoes, or I'm buying a onesie. I saw a guy rollerblading up a hill in a onesie the other day. It's not warm enough really that this was like a speed skating outfit, is what it looked like. With, the nice mirrored sunglasses and the long hair and skin. All I can say is that, I don't think that anyone at that stage should be saying, okay, go outside, do your exercise, all that stuff. Please, when you do it, don't wear something that shows your balls. That's all I'm going to ask. That's it. Because nobody wants to see that. Some people might, I suppose. There are some people, I take that back. There could be some people that do want to see your balls. I don't know. But I'm not one of them. So, anyway, just so that you know, if you are going to go outside and do your exercise thing, wear something appropriate. I would never be caught dead wearing a speed skating outfit. I don't even know if I could get into one. I know they stretch and stuff like that, but if you've ever taken like a rubber band or dental floss and wrapped it around your finger really tight and it has like all the little, that's pretty much I think what I would look like inside that, like wet bread dough inside of a garbage bag. So, yeah. Anyway, I completely lost my train of thought, but I figured I would bring that up because that is something else that happened this week and it was kind of odd. Because I've never seen the person before, I've never seen them since. They just sort of popped out of nowhere. I live in a fairly secluded area, so I don't know what they're doing here. Kind of made me wonder because there is a school nearby. So, But it was just a weird situation. Anyway, moving on. So getting back to not moving on, but going back to what we originally were talking about. This has been an investment of our time. This has been, for some of us, a lot harder than others. Just sort of applying that willpower to stuff. And I'm sure many of you, myself included, we've had days where we've gone over. We've had days where we went, fuck it, I'm just going to eat what I want. And, but as long as you're coming back, not even starting over, just coming back and, getting back on the horse, as they say, and starting again. That, as I've said this right from day one, when you look at that graph over the course of a year, you're going to see that your weight has been going down. And you're going to be able to go back, even looking back now, and I seem to do this every few weeks, looking back now, 3 months ago, how you felt, what you were eating, what you were drinking, how little exercise you were getting, just your habits, and for some of you, how you were sleeping. Maybe you're sleeping better, maybe you're breathing better, maybe, it's just, there's going to be a bunch of little tiny things that you're going to notice. And some of you are going to have those little epiphanies that, sort of dawn on you and you go, you know what, I haven't had a craving for this in a long time. Or I realize that I used to go here all the time and just, little things have changed. So we're going to keep that up. And I don't want it to get to a point where we get, halfway through and then all of a sudden you're saying, this is just taking up so much time now. And now there's money on top of it. And you have to buy organic, whatever it is. I was trying to think of something, and I was like, grain barley things? Yeah. So it's never going to be a matter of saying, well, you need to get this type of food because it's gluten and, vegan, or gluten-free and vegan, and it's made with air that's pumped in from Siberia, which is brought down from the mountains, and only zebras can breathe it out, or whatever the fuck it is, that they make all these little specialty foods. It's never going to get to that point. I mean, if you want to do that, by all means, knock yourself out. Be as much of a hipster as you want to be. But it's never going to get to that point with us. I mean, we are going to start tweaking what we're doing just because, like I've said many times, for me, I'm looking at it going, I eat a tremendous amount of salt. I know that's going to be my biggest hurdle. That's going to be my first food change. For some of you, it's going to be a lot of sugar. For some of you, it's going to be a lot of fat. I probably eat a lot of fatty stuff too. So because they're good, they taste good, and that's why we are the way that we are. So we are going to make those little changes that way, but it's never going to be something that you're going to have to go and spend $14 on special celery, and you can only steam it. It's because it's ridiculous. Our main goal is to get to a point where we can eat normally, like normal human beings, not gorge ourselves on just all junk food and shitty foods and everything else. And for people like me, just the quantity that you're eating. So I know I'm sort of revisiting stuff that I talked about way, way long ago in the intro when we first started this. But I just sort of want to reiterate because, I don't know, the past couple of weeks, I felt like I haven't really been focusing as much on this as I should be. I'm still tracking stuff, and especially where I've had like 2 iffy weeks in the past couple of months anyway, that I think I really should sort of get into it. So just sort of to reaffirm this, plus the conversation sort of prompted it as well. And I just want to reassure people that it's never going to get to a stage where, it's like, now sponsored by this gym and you have to go here to buy it. Otherwise, you don't get a password to watch the videos. This mainly is something that we wanted to create for us so that we could have some place that we can go, have a support system, and have a community that will help each other out and give us those tips and say, no, you can do this and this and this. It costs fuck all. It doesn't cost anything to do. You don't have to go here. You don't have to do all this special stuff. These are practical applications to it, and as small as the changes might be and as insignificant as they may feel, in the long run, those changes have been adding up, and it's going to continue to go for the end of the year. So anyway, I'm going to stop because otherwise I'm just going to keep on going, and as per usual, I'm going to start repeating myself and going to start rambling. I've already talked about, what was it, Star Wars and Batman and the guy with a unitard. Or a onesie. I don't know what they're called. It's a speed skating outfit, which is weird because it's summertime, and you could have just worn like shorts and a t-shirt. So, pretty sure it was just sort of an attention thing. Not specifically to say, hey, look at my balls, but just a matter of him going, look at me, I'm skating all over the place. And anyway. That's it. I'm going to stop here. because otherwise I'm going to start talking about other stuff once again. So, thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me. And in the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.